This lesson is using the roots to help you factor. So, with some expressions that need to be factored, you can use the calculator to help you. You can use the graph to help you. So when an expression x minus a is a factor of a polynomial f of x, then f of a equals 0. So you're going to graph whatever expression, I said trinomial, that's the most common, into your f of x or f1 of x. You're going to find the zeros in the roots by going to Menu, Analyze Graph, 0. And you are going to see the roots. So in this case, here's our trinomial. I graphed it. I found the zeros, -2, 0, and 3, 0. So my roots, I'm going to write x equals -2 and x equals 3. And then the best part is that the factors are the opposite sign of the roots, and you're never going to use decimals or fractions, okay? So when I factor this, if my root is -2, my factor is x plus 2. If my root is +3, my factor is x minus 3. And if I graph that, I get exactly the same graph. So go ahead, grab your calculator. So this is the graph that's on your paper. So if you hit tab, and now we graph the factors, so x plus 2 parenthesis times x minus 3 parenthesis. We notice they are on top of each other. There is one quadratic or one parabola. Perfect, huh? Awesome. All right, so what are some other things I know about parabolas? So these were the roots. So I found those by going to Menu, Analyze Graph, 0. You have to click, I got to click on a graph because I have multiple. If you only have one in there, you don't have to do that. So I have to go on both sides. It doesn't matter which is the lower. So click on one side of it, click on the other. It will not do both at the same time. So you're going to have to do it twice if you want to see it all. So there's our zeros. That's how I made the picture on your paper. You need to know the y-intercept. Well, when it's in this standard form, the y-intercept is this number on the end, -6. And you can see that from here. If you're looking using the calculator, Control-T gives you the table. Control-T. And you can tell in the table if you go up to 0, so when x is 0, that's the y-intercept. Here's your x-intercepts. And now we want to find the minimum in this case. So I'm going to get rid of the table again, Control-T. To find the minimum or the maximum, I'm going to go to that Analyze Graph again. So in this case, minimum. Again, I have to click on the graph. Normally I don't have to do that if there's only one in. And again, I have to go on the lower bound and the upper bound. And you want to make sure that minimum point is in there. So why am I showing you all this? Because these are the things you have to label if you're using graphing as your work. Okay? So make sure you have all of those things labeled and a beautiful sketch. All right? And we've talked about that. All right, back to our notes. So the second example is a little bit more difficult. We see that our roots are x equals -4 and x equals 1.5. -4 is pretty easy. It becomes x plus 4. But 1.5 is not so easy. So the first thing you're going to want to do is turn it into a fraction. If you're not sure how to do that, we're going to pull up our calculator. We're going to get a calculator page. You're going to put 1.5 in. And notice since you had a decimal, if you hit enter, it gives you decimal form. So the way you're going to put it into a fraction is Menu, Number, and then approximate to a fraction, number 2. So menu to 2. It says this nonsense here that really means nothing to you because it goes out 14 decimal places. You don't have to worry about that at all. So hit enter. So 3 over 2. Hopefully you knew that. So our fraction is x equals 3 over 2. So now if I put it in parentheses, it's going to be x minus 3 over 2. But the rule at the top says no decimals or fractions in the factors. So what happens here? Well, if I have an answer for a problem of 3 divided by 2, how do I undo divided by 2? It's a multiply by 2. So I have to multiply x by 2. And then notice my root was positive, so my factor is negative. So here are my two factors, x plus 4 times 2x minus 3. All right, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Good luck.